What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue wrapping the EF sedan. If you guys saw the last two videos, the first one we did the passenger fender along with the passenger door, and then the second video we did the driver's side fender and driver's side door. We were supposed to do the hood, but I was kind of indecisive of what I wanted to do as far as the vinyl shortage goes. So today we kind of have a solution. Now, in the previous video I mentioned that I wanted to measure out the cutout for the hood to see if it'll fit the roof, and guess what? It does. The vinyl wrap that I cut out for the hood does fit the roof with excess amount hanging off the ends. But I decided, because I didn't originally want this car to have a carbon hood and I wanted to keep it sleek and sleeper, I decided to not carbon fiber wrap the hood and use the vinyl cutout for the hood for the roof, because at the end of the day we're still short on the trunk. I did lay out all the vinyl wrap on the hood again to see if I had anything that may be of length for the trunk to do in two sections, but unfortunately the length of the trunk is 25 and the biggest we have is 17. But after kind of thinking about the whole entire shebang here, I decided that, you know what, I'm just gonna buy a very close color that I can see from the interweb to wrap the hood and the trunk. So I just came out of my room and I ordered 10 by 5, which is plenty to do the roof and the trunk of somewhat of the same color, gloss metallic. And the cutouts we have for the hood, we're going to continue wrapping the hood blue instead of the carbon fiber I had in mind. So the goal today here, guys, is to wrap the entire hood, and the front filler piece is the metal piece that sits between the bumper and the headlight. I do have it hanging up there on the rack, and once I get that done, put the bumper back on, I'm probably going to drop the car, turn it around so we can start on the rear doors, but also have the rear end facing us, so that way we can do the quarters and the pillar if we get to it today. Don't mind my hospital pants, but you guys probably have been wondering from the last video who this guy is. This guy right here is Meow Meow, also known as Mittens, because he's a polydactyl. He has an extra thumb, and a lot of you guys have been asking about where he's been. Dude, he's just been sleeping all this time in different places, and he just found a very comfortable spot right here on my recycling bin, and he's just been sleeping here for the last couple of days. Meow Meow is an old fart, man. Dude, this guy's been around for as long as I've had my wagon. I bought this car February 2011, and my cousin Jerry gave me Meow Meow when he was a kitten, March of 2011. So I've had this guy just as long as my wagon, and he's still kicking, man. But all he does nowadays is just sleep. I need to roll all of this back up right here because we're not going to make any use of it on the car, but hopefully we repurpose it later down the road. I've been debating on getting a Honda Moto Compacto is what it's called, and maybe use some of this to wrap that. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm gonna roll it up and pile it up with all the other ones over there, put them away for something else, all these little ones as well too. But these guys here are the cutouts for the rest of the car, so we're gonna be working with this one right here for the hood. All right, so I took a little bit of break to grab some food, and just want to show you guys the hood after struggling with it for almost 2 hours. So I used that 50 by 60 cutout, 60 across, 50 over, and I laid the magnet on the vinyl over here because this is fiberglass, and then I peeled back the paper and I stretched the vinyl over to this end to lay down the magnet to hold it in place, and then I started squeegeeing from this end, trying to work my way this way. And I think with the contours, it kind of stretches the vinyl in different ways to where it was creating more bubbles, you know what I mean? Like when you stretch metal, like the roof, for example, I was having issues with causing a bunch of bubbles, and I had to like peel this entire back end over just to pull it out, heat it up, and then, you know, try to get all the bubbles and creases out of the vinyl. So it took me a little while to do it because I kept having it here, and then I kept having it here, and then I kept having it here, back and forth. And then I realized, you know what, I need to peel this up so it doesn't lock in the vinyl. So I had to peel this back up to lay down this section. And then once I got the vinyl set up this way, I finished off this end over here, and then I started having issues with a bunch of wrinkles here because I worked like this, and then it kind of bundled up because the vinyl had been stretched so much that there was just a bunch here. So then a bunch of back and forth with the heating to stretch it out over to lay it nice and flat. And at the end of the day, we got the hood fully vinyl wrapped, and we trimmed all the ends about 1/2 inch going in. Shout out to the homie Kenneth for giving me pointers of heating the edges before wrapping it over. So I did that, and then I laid it all down. And it's crazy because this color of the vinyl almost matches the color of the bay and underneath the hood, because you can't even tell where the transition's at, literally. I mean, if you stare at it closely and you see the little wrinkles, then yeah, but if you just stare at it like this to here, you really can't tell. You really can't tell. And I'm stoked about it. I was able to get all the corners looking sharp, and you know, no crazy like stick out or anything. Kind of had that issue with, I think, this side over here. This is what I was talking about right there. But other than that, I mean, I was able to get it nice and clean. I did get a couple of dirt, like one right there, then there's like one right there. It's not a lot. At the end of the day, it's not a lot, and I'm stoked about it. Bodywork on the hood, not the greatest. That high spot is still there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there, or low spot, or I don't know what this is. But I'm not worried about it. It's fiberglass. It is what it is. And I think I'm gonna work with the filler next, the metal piece that goes right here between the headlight and the bumper. So this filler piece right here, got it from the junkyard a little while ago, and the one that was on this car is aftermarket, which is flimsier and it doesn't fit correctly. So because I got it from the junkyard, this one needs a little prepping. It's straight for the most part, just needs to be scuffed up a little bit, and then I'm gonna smooth it out. All the tabs that gets mounted with 10 mils, I'm going to be painting them black just so you don't see them, especially these ones here, because you can see it from the engine bay. But doesn't need any body work, so scuff and go. So I had the filler piece right here sanded down with 150, and then I chased it with the red Scotch-Brite on all the flanges, and then I went over it again with 320 wet, nice and smooth. I did tape off all of the filler that's going to be wrapped to paint the flange all black. You can see that right there, and this thing is ready to be wrapped. I do have a size that's long enough for it. I have a 69 inch by 17, and this is only like what, 7 inches by 61. So I need to find a place to lay this down to wrap it without it like flopping all over the place. All right, guys, so we have the filler piece all wrapped up, all edged out, looking sharp, dude. Ooh wee. I'm really loving that I did the black the way I did, because if you look at the cutout, it's like it looks like paint, dude. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. Like, the way I wrapped this is how I would have done it if I painted the car or this piece. But dude, look at it, nice and uniform all the way through, looking fire. I wrapped it around underneath all the way to the underside, and this thing is looking fire. I'm not gonna lie though, I did drop it on this end when I was holding it on the opposite side, working the heater and the vinyl, and I dropped it on this corner in the concrete, and it tore the vinyl, and I patched it. Can you guys tell me where it's at? Because it's really hard to see, right? I patched it. So if I take it to the light, I don't know if you guys can see that line right there next to the top right hand corner. That's where I patched it. Not a big patch, it's like 1.5 inch, and I'm really surprised on how well it blends, but we got it patched. This thing is looking awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and toss it onto the car now. Tell me this thing looks like a freaking brand new car. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I told myself by the end of the week, I want this car to be at least 50% wrapped. I would call this 40 just because we haven't done the roof yet, and we are to the back doors. So technically that's half minus a 10% on the top, 40, if that makes any sense. But guys, we are on the move. I am super stoked. The front end is looking good. I'm actually pretty happy that I decided to wrap the hood the same color instead of doing the carbon, because I was really eager to see the hood this color. Also because underneath the hood is already blue too, and I'm glad I decided to keep it blue instead of carbon. I am super stoked, guys. I'm super stoked. Obviously the night has fell, and I don't think I'm gonna be doing the rear of the car, because I said I was going to drop the car to the floor, turn it around, do the back doors, and maybe possibly the quarter panel. Definitely not doing that tonight. It's already 10 o'clock, so I think we're going to wrap it right here, man. The hood was super challenging for me today, despite some of my mistakes. And it was funny because I knew I made the mistake, but I was just being stubborn about peeling it back off and starting you know, laying down the vinyl the correct way. And I struggled with it for a couple of hours. My fault, but you know, like I said, it's a learning curve, and I need to stop being a little stubborn, because I could have made my life a lot easier, work smarter, not harder, you know what I'm saying? But guys, I hope you enjoy the process of putting the vinyl on the hood and the filler today. Before I wrap it up here in the garage, I did mention in the previous video that we got this package right here, and I want to open it up with you guys, because this package right here is kind of give you guys an idea of what's to come here the next couple of weeks after we get the sedan ready for the show. So this package right here came from Arizona from the homie JUSTIG Fabrication. If you guys seen the turbo element build we did last year for the homie Isai, we used one of JUSTIG's turbo manifolds. It's a log style rear top mount setup, and so far they've pushed it to 600 horsepower without any boost creep issues. Haven't seen it make more than 600 horsepower, but for what we're trying to do, this manifold setup is going to be perfect. Grab my razor blade here, cut away from yourself, not toward yourself. Remember that. Alrighty. What do we have here? We have a JUSTIG laser cut ECU cover. Can't really show you guys because it's backwards, but this way maybe. Get a light flash back here. JUSTIG, shout out, thank you for this. Didn't expect it, but got plenty of ECUs that can use this. Quality packaging paper. Oh wow, there's a lot more stuff in here that I did not order. Wow. Okay, well, first and foremost, this right here is the log manifold setup. I'm not going to take it out of the bag because we're not going to be using it right now, and I want to prevent myself from scratching it up because I'd be fumbling things sometimes. So this manifold right here is a log style. You can see it. It's a 1.5 transition to a 2-inch T for the cylinder 2, 3, and 4, which then goes up to a T3 flange, and then the log shoots straight into this 44 V-band for the wastegate, which gives it wastegate priority. Turbo sits on top, so this sits in the back of the engine, and then the turbo sits right here. I'll throw a little picture right now of SI's turbo setup. This is really high quality. I can see that it has been back purged. It is also ported as well too, so it's cleaned up really nicely, and the manifold itself is nice and polished up. So as long as you don't keep it dirty, this thing should burn to a really nice color. So shout out to JUSTIG for this. But not only this he sent me that I purchased, he gave me a whole bunch of other things in here as well too. Wow. Okay, so the first two things here is flex pipe, 3-inch flex pipe. I use this to make downpipes and also to integrate into the exhaust system. In case your exhaust system is like very firm, you want some flex out of it so you don't go breaking mounting tabs or rubber tabs for, sorry, not rubber tabs, but hangers for rubber tabs and stuff. So this is going to come in clutch because this is definitely on my list to buy once we get going with the turbo manifold setup. And then on top of that, we have, I believe this is like 1.5 tubing for 44mm wastegate, and this is going to come in super clutch because I don't have any material to make a dump tube, but now we have 290s to make the simple dump tube we're going to need for this manifold setup. So thank you, Juan, for this. I appreciate it so much. And not only that, not only do we have the wastegate dump tubing, we have wastegate dump tube bellows, dude. So not only do we put flex into the downpipe, you can also put flex into the dump tube. Say if you're recirculating the dump tube into the downpipe, so you don't have that open wastegate sound. I might leave mine open, but this might just gives me the option to, like, if I want to recirculate. So shout out for these as well too, because not only he gave me one, he gave me two. And I did see some other things in here. What is this, bro? Much appreciated, man. So in here we have 4 IAT bung flanges. These flanges right here, when you're boosted on a K series, the K series typically have the IAT sensor on a rubber grommet into your intake, and it slips in and out easily. But when you're force inducted, turbo or supercharged, you want your IAT sensors to be secured. So these flanges right here are weld-on flanges with provisions for O-ring and the IAT sensor to sit in it, and then you screw it down to secure it into the pipe. We have 4 of those. I appreciate you for this. Thank you so much. And not only that, we have O2 bungs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 O2 bungs. Brother, I appreciate you so much, man. Fabrication stuff I don't really keep in stock because they're expensive, and if I need it, I would go to the homie Kel's house, grab some from his inventory, put it on a tab, pay it, and I'll have fabrication material. Big shout out to JUSTIG Fabrication for sending us a whole bunch of fabrication stuff to help me with the fabrication that we're going to be doing in, I didn't even mention it to you guys, this manifold setup. All this right here is for my wagon. You guys didn't see this video because this video file was lost within the memory card that corrupted a couple of weeks ago. I lost 3 vlogs in that memory card, and one of it was when we went to go pick up my new engine from the homie Chris built. It is actually tucked away with my racing jacket right there, but this is an engine that is rated to 900 horsepower, and the goal with my sedan is to put this engine in there with the Wagon's turbo and manifold setup, which is a Boost Junkie Sidewinder manifold with a Precision 6266 Gen 1 turbo. And this right here is actually for the Wagon, because I've decided now to keep the Wagon at a subtle 450 on pump gas, and because the car sits for a long period of time, I'd rather leave it on pump gas than to put the built motor in there on E85 to make my horsepower goals, only for it to sit and clog up my line with the E. So this manifold right here is for the Wagon. We're gonna be changing the setup along with the turbo as well too, and then go back to the dyno to make that 450 it currently makes, so I can utilize the turbo manifold setup and the turbo itself in the Wagon to the sedan when the time comes. So that's what all of this is for, man. Shout out to JUSTIG Fabrication. I'll leave all his link in the description below. Be sure to give him a follow, man. Support your locals, and if you're looking for a turbo manifold for yourself as well too, hit him up, let him know I sent you. And just let you guys know ahead of time, he is super backed up because he's kind of got that traction now that he is backed up probably a couple of months. But I'll tell you guys what, his manifolds are worth the wait. Okay, so be sure to let him know I sent you if you guys are interested. We're gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the wrap on the hood and the filler for the EF sedan. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up. If you guys want to stick around for more progress on the sedan, for me tomorrow I might be doing the rear, maybe a little bit of the trunk, the door and stuff. If you guys want to stick around and see all that stuff, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.